Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel Dentistry to the Point. This is Dr. Dromel Manek. So this is the part 2 of the topic systemic hypertension. In the part 1, we discuss about the introduction, etiology, clinical features and the target organ damage which are responsible due to systemic hypertension. So in the part 2, we'll discuss about the investigations and the treatment regarding this condition. So firstly, starting with the investigations. So the investigations are divided into two, that is the basic investigations and special investigations for any secondary disease. तो basic investigations वो रहेंगे जो आप हर patient में करोगे, which are necessary and must to be done for each and every patient. But the special investigations are only done for to rule out any secondary disease which is responsible for the occurrence of hypertension, right? We have discussed various secondary disorders in the first part. So starting with basic investigations, firstly you will do urine analysis. Urine analysis में आप क्या देखोगे? Is there any presence of protein, blood और glucose? मतलब या तो patient proteinuria, hematuria या glucosuria face कर रहा है कि नहीं देखोगे. Next will be your blood glucose. Blood glucose will be measured to rule out conditions like diabetes. Then you will have blood urea, electrolytes and creatinine. Blood urea, creatinine should be done to rule out any urinary disorders and electrolytes to rule out hypokalemia. Then also you need to have the lipid profile of the patient. Uski complete total lipid profile including the total serum cholesterol along with the content or the levels of high density cholesterol should also be measured. And lastly, 12 lead ECGs also be done to rule out left ventricular hypertrophy or any other coronary artery disease. So these are the main basic 5 investigations. क्या क्या है? Urine analysis, blood glucose, blood urea, electrolytes and creatinine, serum total and high density lipoprotein cholesterol, and lastly 12 lead ECG. Now next, moving on to the special investigations for secondary disease. तो स्पेशल इन्वेस्टिगेशंस में फर्स्ट वी विल डू चेस्ट एक्सरे. चेस्ट एक्सरे किस चीज के लिए करेंगे? टू रूल आउट कार्डियोमेगाली, हार्ट फेलियर और कोऑक्टेशन ऑफ एओर्टा. नाउ दिस कंसिस्ट अंडर द सेकेंडरी डिसऑर्डर्स. अगर कार्डियोमेगाली हुई है किसी भी रीजन की वजह से या हार्ट फेलियर और कोऑक्टेशन ऑफ एओर्टा, देन सेकंड इज एम्बुलेटरी ब्लड प्रेशर रिकॉर्डिंग. नाउ व्हाट इज एम्बुलेटरी ब्लड प्रेशर रिकॉर्डिंग? मतलब you are going to record the blood pressure of the patient for 24 hours. Whenever the patient is admitted or is present in the hospital, this is done mainly to rule out the white coat hypertension. We have discussed about the white coat hypertension, right? White coat hypertension क्या था? कि as soon as the patient sees someone in white coat, that is mainly the doctors, then his pressure is going to increase. अब इसमें क्या होगा? There will be recording of the pressure for every 1 hour. मतलब हर 1 घंटे में उसका ब्लड प्रेशर 3 बार मेजर किया जाएगा. एंड वाइल स्लीपिंग स्टेट एवरी 1 hour 1 टाइम द प्रेशर इज रिकॉर्डेड. मतलब क्या होगा? व्हेन द पेशेंट इज अवेक, तो जब वो जाग रहा होगा, देन हिज प्रेशर विल बी रिकॉर्डेड 3 times. एंड व्हेन ही विल बी स्लीपिंग, हिज प्रेशर विल बी रिकॉर्डेड 1 time per hour, right? So this will be done to rule out this white coat hypertension. मतलब जब भी डॉक्टर प्रेजेंट नहीं होगा, his pressure will be recorded. A cuff will be tied to his hand and it will be attached to the monitor which will record the blood pressure of the patient. तो अगर white coat या डॉक्टर प्रेजेंट नहीं है, उस कंडीशन में उसका प्रेशर नॉर्मल रहता है, that means it is indicating that patient is facing white coat hypertension. I hope so this is clear. Next is echocardiogram. Echocardiogram is done to detect and quantify the left ventricular hypertrophy. मतलब लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकुलर हाइपरट्रोफी की क्वांटिटी कितनी है, सीवियरिटी कितनी है, उसको मेजर करने के लिए यू विल हैव इकोकार्डियोग्राम. नेक्स्ट इज रीनल अल्ट्रासाउंड. नाउ रीनल अल्ट्रासाउंड इज डन टू रूल आउट एनी रीनल डिजीजेस, राइट? एनी secondary renal disease which is causing systemic hypertension, along with renal angiography to rule out renal stenosis, renal artery stenosis to be precise. So renal artery stenosis and any other renal diseases are ruled out by renal ultrasound and angiography. Then you have urinary catecholamines. Now urinary catecholamines are done to rule out pheochromocytoma. Then next, urinary cortisol and dexamethasone suppression test. This is mainly done for Cushing's syndrome, right? Cushing's syndrome, we have seen the main signs, that is pink stripe, truncal obesity, right? So these are the main symptoms of Cushing disease. So for that you will have urinary cortisol and dexamethasone suppression test, and lastly plasma renin activity and aldosterone to rule out primary hyperaldosteronism. So these are the secondary diseases or special investigations to rule out any secondary disorders present which are causing systemic hypertension. I hope so you guys are clear with both basic and special investigations, and especially ambulatory blood pressure recording, because this is something new which you guys need to know, right? So next we'll move on to the treatment of systemic hypertension. So next, moving on to the treatment of systemic hypertension, or I should say that management. The management is categorized into two parts. दो parts रहेंगे. First आपका रहेगा general measures and second will be your drug therapy. तो सबसे पहले जनरल मेजर्स में क्या क्या रहेगा कि यू नीड टू रिलीव द स्ट्रेसफुल कंडीशंस पेशेंट को अवॉइड करनी. यू नीड टू आस्क द पेशेंट टू अवॉइड unnecessary tension or stress. Now that stress may be anything, that is emotional stress, any mental stress, financial condition or any family problems. We need to avoid all the stressful conditions, right? Stress plays a major role in the treatment of systemic hypertension. Next is diet. There are various measures which are need to be taken in the diet of the patient. अगर वो पेशेंट को अल्कोहल या स्मोकिंग की आदत है, if is bound to that things, then he should be advised to decrease the consumption of alcohol and also seriously stop smoking, because smoking is going to damage more in systemic hypertension or any of the patients. Smoking should be avoided, but alcohol has some guidelines, that is he is allowed 30 ml per day, not more than 30 ml per day is advised or allowed for the patient of systemic hypertension. Next is obesity. Now regarding the obesity, he need to take care of his fat and cholesterol consumption, right? Whatever the diet he is taking, he need to avoid the junk food. He needs to avoid the high fat containing diet. He has to eat more amount of fruits or vegetables or green leafy vegetables, I should say. So this must also be taken care of. That is the fat and cholesterol levels of his body. Then low sodium diet, उसको आपको advise करना है कि low sodium diet should be advised for the patient of systemic hypertension. क्योंकि because there have been trials done and it is seen that low sodium diet has reduced the hypertension of various cases, right? So low sodium diet can be of 10 to 20 millimoles per day, but that is not tolerable by each and every patient. So at least a moderate sodium diet, that is 70 to 80 millimoles per day, should be advised to the patient of systemic hypertension. So this was about the diet. Next is regular exercises. The patient must be advised to compulsorily do regular exercises. If he or she wants to decrease obesity or control the fat content, then also regular exercise is going to help him very much greatly, right? Regular exercises like isotonic exercises are allowed, like walking, fast walking, jogging or swimming, but not the isometric exercises like weightlifting or such. So regular exercises should be done. And lastly, improving the overall lifestyle of the patient, the sleeping schedule, the way of living the lifestyle, the way of diet, everything should be in proper condition. And you can also do meditation or breathing techniques to improve the lifestyle, that he or she stays calm during the daytime or he can avoid the stressful conditions. So these are the general measures ये आपको ध्यान रखना है in the patient of systemic hypertension. So now next, starting with the drug therapy. Now drug therapy is done in the patients in which the general measures are not helpful and still he or she is facing with the problem of hypertension, then he may be advised the drug therapy. Now there are cases of asymptomatic hypertension, मतलब कि ऐसे पेशेंट्स हैं जिसमें कोई सिम्टम्स नहीं दिख रहे हैं हाइपरटेंशन के, बट द पेशेंट इज स्कैर्ड ऑफ द साइड इफेक्ट्स ऑफ द ड्रग. आप उस पेशेंट को ड्रग एडवाइस कर रहे हो, बट ही और शी इज स्कैर्ड ऑफ द साइड इफेक्ट्स ऑफ द ड्रग इंस्टेड ऑफ द साइड इफेक्ट ऑफ हाइपरटेंशन. जो भी हाइपरटेंशन के लॉन्ग टर्म इफेक्ट्स है उससे ज्यादा पेशेंट इज कंसर्न्ड ऑफ द साइड इफेक्ट्स ऑफ द ड्रग थेरेपी. सो उन केसेस में इट इज वेरी मच डिफिकल्ट टू टैकल द पेशेंट एंड make him consume the drug or stick to the treatment whichever is or she is given. So compliance of the drug treatment is very much difficult in asymptomatic hypertension. That is my saying. Now next कि single drug treatment भी हो सकती है या combination of drugs can also be used for the treatment of systemic hypertension. Single drug treatment मतलब क्या हुआ कि कोई भी एक ड्रग प्रिस्क्राइब कर दी, whether it may be ACE inhibitor or calcium channel blocker, beta adrenergic blocker, or it may be any diuretic, right? So compliance to single drug treatment can also be given. You need to take care of the side effects of the drug. जो patient की needs है उसके सामने ड्रग के जो इफेक्ट्स है, बेनिफिट्स है और ड्रग के साइड इफेक्ट्स है, उन दोनों को कंपेयर करना है आपको. यू जस्ट नॉट हैव टू प्रिस्क्राइब द ड्रग लाइक दैट ओनली. आपको उसके साइड इफेक्ट्स और उसके बेनिफिट्स दोनों को कंपेयर करना है. जिस ड्रग के बेनिफिट ज्यादा होंगे और साइड इफेक्ट्स कम होंगे वही ड्रग आप प्रिस्क्राइब करोगे. एंड सेकेंड केस क्या होगा कि आप कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ ड्रग्स भी प्रिस्क्राइब कर सकते हो. अगर ऐसी कोई कंडीशन है जिसमें सिंगल ड्रग से हाइपरटेंशन कंट्रोल नहीं हो रहा है, देन यू कैन प्रिस्क्राइब मोर देन one drug for the treatment of hypertension. There are also various cases of malignant hypertension जिसमें आपकी combination of drugs भी काम नहीं करेगी. You need to have some special investigation and treatment procedures for that type of patient. So this was a short introduction regarding the compliance to drug treatment. Next, initially जब पहले क्या था कि WHO had given a stepped care for the treatment of hypertension. Stepped care मतलब there were a combination of drugs which were given in sequence. There was a chart made for each and every treatment of hypertension for all the patients. So now this is modified. अब ऐसा नहीं होता कि आप combination of drugs दे देते हो one by one in order. Now the drugs are done by the needs of the patient. Patient की need क्या है, उसके side effects क्या है, उसके कॉम्प्लिकेशंस क्या है ड्यू टू सिस्टमिक हाइपरटेंशन, उन सब चीजों को ध्यान में रखते हुए ड्रग्स आर प्रिस्क्राइब्ड. मेनली नाउअडेज मोर सिंप्लीफाइड रेजिमेन ऑफ ड्रग ट्रीटमेंट इज फॉलोड. दैट मींस अ सिंगल ड्रग इज गिवन फॉर द होल डे इन मॉर्निंग टाइम, इन आफ्टरनून और इवनिंग टाइम. यूजुअली मॉर्निंग टाइम में आपको ड्रग दी जाती है, सॉरी नॉट आपको, पेशेंट को ड्रग दी जाती है एंड ही इज एडवाइज्ड टू stay normal throughout the day, right? तो ये चीज now it is followed कि more simplified type of drug regimen is given. So this was a short introduction regarding the treatment of systemic hypertension. Now there are various drugs involved in the treatment of systemic hypertension. We'll discuss them one by one. So starting with the drug therapy for systemic hypertension. So before starting with this, we'll discuss about the various aims of drug treatment. So if the patient is diabetic or if the patient is non-diabetic, it depends that अगर patient non-diabetic है तो उसका blood pressure you need to bring till less than 140 by 90 mm Hg. And if the patient is diabetic तो उसका blood pressure आपको कहाँ तक लाना है, less than or equal to 130 by 80 mm Hg. क्लियर है? अगर non-diabetic है तो pre-hypertensive stage तक, that is 140 by 90 तक लाना है. अगर डायबिटिक है तो 130 by 80 mm Hg तक लाना है. और अगर आपको ड्रग ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट करना है so you need to check if the diastolic pressure is more than 90 mm Hg. क्या है? डायस्टोलिक प्रेशर 90 mm Hg से ज्यादा और सिस्टोलिक प्रेशर 160 mm of Hg से अगर ज्यादा रहेगा then you can start the drug treatment for the following patient. Now starting with the first group of the drug, that is the diuretics or thiazides. So the main role of diuretics is sodium diuresis and volume depletion. क्या करना है? उसको सोडियम बाहर निकालना है और वॉल्यूम डिप्लीट करना है. Now there are various side effects of this diuretics like hypokalemia, hyperuricemia, hyperglycemia and hyperlipidemia. First one is hypokalemia, next three are hyperuricemia, hyperglycemia and hyperlipidemia. So these are the most common side effects related to the diuretics. Now you can use thiazide based diuretics for the treatment of systemic hypertension like 2.5 mg of bendroflumethiazide, or you can use 0.5 mg of cyclopenthiazide for the treatment of systemic hypertension. These are the thiazide based diuretics. There is also one non-thiazide based diuretics, that is chlorthalidone, which has shown more effects in antihypertension compared to the bendroflumethiazide and cyclopenthiazide. So, but the most commonly used are these two, that is you can use 2.5 mg of bendroflumethiazide or 0.5 mg of cyclopenthiazide. There are also various potent diuretics like furosemide, bumetanide and torsemide. The furosemide is used 40 mg daily, or if you don't want to use furosemide, you can use bumetanide 1 mg daily, or you can use 20 mg torsemide daily. So these are the three more potent diuretics but these are less frequently used because they have really short duration of action. इनका जो action है it is very much short and they have to be used with ACE inhibitors, right? So for that condition, the furosemide, bumetanide or torsemide are used less compared to the bendroflumethiazide or cyclopenthiazide. Even spironolactone was used 20 mg daily, which was a potassium sparing diuretic, but even that did not show much effects in creating antihypertensive condition. So this is about the diuretics. You just need to remember the side effects and the drugs used in this. There are 5 drugs: bendroflumethiazide, cyclopenthiazide, furosemide, bumetanide or torsemide, and one more thing which you need to remember is about spironolactone, which is 20 mg daily. Now the next category of drug is ACE inhibitors. So in ACE inhibitors we have 3 types of drug mainly, that is enalapril, ramipril and lisinopril. So enalapril is going to be given 20 mg daily, or instead of enalapril you can use ramipril, that is 5 mg daily, और अगर वो भी यूज नहीं करनी है तो you have lisinopril, that is 10 to 40 mg daily, can be given based on the situations and severity, right? So enalapril, ramipril and lisinopril are the 3 drugs which come under the category of ACE inhibitors. Now what are these ACE inhibitors? They are angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. They are directly going to act on renin-angiotensin system, that is they will not allow the conversion of renin-angiotensin 1 to renin-angiotensin 2. You guys must be aware of the renin-angiotensin system in which the ACE enzyme, angiotensin converting enzyme, was converting renin-angiotensin 1 to renin-angiotensin 2. अब ये renin-angiotensin 2 के 2 काम थे. First of all, it was acting on adrenal gland to release aldosterone, right? Aldosterone release करके ये क्या करवा रहा था? ये 2 चीजें करवा रहा था. That was first, it was going to act on adrenal gland, which was going to create sodium and water retention. So aldosterone will act on the kidneys to create sodium and water retention. So RAS2 acting on adrenal gland, releasing aldosterone and creating sodium and water retention, right? And next we have second, that is second work was, it was doing the constriction of vessels, so the pressure was increasing. But अगर ये RAS2 block हो जाएगा तो first of all सोडियम एंड वाटर रिटेंशन भी ब्लॉक हो जाएगा. दैट इज सेकेंड की कंस्ट्रिक्शन हो रहा था जो वेसल्स का, जो नैरो हो रहा था डायमीटर, वो भी कम हो जाएगा. सो दिस विल इन टर्न कन्वर्ट द सिचुएशन फ्रॉम हाइपरटेंसिव टू एंटी हाइपरटेंसिव. तो ये 2 काम थे renin-angiotensin 2 के, which are blocked by 3 drugs. These are ACE inhibitors, enalapril, ramipril and lisinopril. But they have some contraindication that these drugs should be treated in care with patients of impaired renal function. अब देखो किसी भी पेशेंट को renal function उसका सही नहीं है, so you can't use this drug because it is dealing with kidneys. Secondary and also renal artery stenosis, you can't use this drug. You need to measure the serum creatinine and electrolytes level before giving this drug to such patient, because they are going to directly reduce your GFR. After reducing the GFR, they can precipitate the conditions of renal failure. So impaired renal function or renal artery stenosis के patient में you can't give ACE inhibitors, or if you want to give, then you must be aware of each and every thing. There are some side effects, general side effects like hypotension, first dose hypotension, right? Then we have cough, rash, hypokalemia and renal dysfunction. So these are the some side effects which are first dose hypotension, cough, rash, hypokalemia and renal dysfunction. So this was all about ACE inhibitors. There are also second type of drugs which are almost similar or they are having the same mechanism like ACE inhibitor, that is angiotensin receptor blocker. These were acting on angiotensin converting enzyme. These are going to act on angiotensin receptor to block the conversion of RAS1 to RAS2. अब इसमें कौन कौन सी कैटेगरी है? We have irbesartan, that is 150 to 300 mg daily can be given, or valsartan can be given 40 to 60 mg daily, right? They are going to block the angiotensin receptor, but one plus point of this angiotensin receptor blocker is that they do not have side effects like cough, rash, so they are well better tolerated than the ACE inhibitors, right? So the next category of drug is calcium channel antagonist, or you can call it as calcium channel blockers. Now this calcium channel blockers are of two types, that is dihydropyridines and rate limiting एंटागोनिस्ट. डाइहाइड्रोपायरिडिन्स वो होते हैं जो डायरेक्टली ब्लड वेसल्स पे एक्ट करेंगे, जिनका वो डायलेशन करवाएंगे, जिसके कारण ब्लड प्रेशर इज गोइंग टू डिक्रीज और हाइपरटेंशन इज गोइंग टू डिक्रीज. और रेट लिमिटिंग एंटागोनिस्ट वो होते हैं दैट आर गोइंग टू डायरेक्टली एक्ट ऑन एसए नोड एंड एवी नोड व्हिच विल डिक्रीज द हार्ट रेट एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्टिलिटी, राइट? तो डिफरेंस समझ आ गया. एक वो है जो वेसल्स पे काम करेंगे, एक वो है जो डायरेक्टली हार्ट रेट और कॉन्ट्रैक्टिलिटी कम करेंगे. सो जैसे ही डाइहाइड्रोपायरिडिन्स व्हिच आर यूज्ड आर लाइक amlodipine 5 to 10 mg daily, nifedipine 30 to 90 mg daily, but these are mainly used in older people, and the side effects of this drug is flushing, palpitation and fluid retention. क्या क्या है? flushing, palpitation and fluid retention are the main side effects for dihydropyridines. and the rate limiting antagonist क्या थे? जो heart rate कम कर रहे थे और contractility कम कर रहे थे. So the main drug in this category is diltiazem, that is 200 to 300 mg daily can be given, or you can give verapamil 240 mg daily. But these are used in hypertension in which there is also angina present, but in some cases it may also cause bradycardia. That is used hypertension coexist with angina. मतलब ऐसे केस में जिसमें हाइपरटेंशन और एंजाइना साथ में है, you can use rate limiting antagonist. The main side effect of verapamil is constipation, right? आपको क्या याद रखना है कि rate limiting antagonist का काम क्या है? तो वो हार्ट रेट और कॉन्ट्रैक्टिलिटी कम करेंगे. दो टाइप्स की है, diltiazem, verapamil. इस केस में यूज करेंगे जिसमें हाइपरटेंशन और एंजाइना साथ में है, बट इट कैन ऑल्सो कॉज ब्रेडिकार्डिया. एंड लास्टली verapamil का मेन साइड इफेक्ट इज constipation. So the next category of the drug is beta blockers, and along with that we'll also discuss about the beta and alpha blockers together, right? So there are two types of drugs, one which are only going to block the beta 1 or beta 1 adrenoreceptor, and there is another category which are going to block both beta and alpha receptors. So the first beta blockers, these are no longer used as the first line treatment of drugs in the treatment of हाइपरटेंशन. क्या है? नो लॉन्गर यूज्ड एज फर्स्ट लाइन ड्रग एक्सेप्ट देयर इज एन इंडिकेशन. अगर हाइपरटेंशन के साथ कोई इंडिकेशन है लाइक एंजाइना, देन ओनली दे आर यूज्ड एज अ फर्स्ट लाइन ड्रग इन द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ सिस्टमिक हाइपरटेंशन. सो द ड्रग्स इन दिस कैटेगरी आर metoprolol can be given 100 to 200 mg daily, atenolol 50 to 100 mg daily, or you can give Bisprolol 5 to 10 mg daily. Any of these one can be given, metoprolol, atenolol or Bisprolol. These are going to block the beta 1 adrenoreceptors. We already know that. Now there are also some drugs which are going to block both beta and alpha receptors. So that are labetalol and carvedilol. Now labetalol can be given 200 mg till to 2.4 ग्राम डेली इन डिवाइडेड डोजेस. आपको एक सिंगल डोज में नहीं देना है 200 mg या 2.4 ग्राम, बट यू नीड टू गिव इन डिवाइडेड डोजेस. आप मैलिग्नेंट हाइपरटेंशन के केस में भी यूज कर सकते हो लाबेटालॉल एज कंटिन्यूस infusion, right? So labetalol 200 mg to 2.4 gram daily in divided doses and can also be used in malignant hypertension. Next is carvedilol, which can be used 6.2 gram to 25 milligram. 6.25 milligram to 25 milligram every 12 hourly. मतलब हर 12 घंटे में आपको 6.2 ग्राम से मिलीग्राम से 25 मिलीग्राम तक के डोज में डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द नीड्स कैन बी गिवन, दैट इज carvedilol. Now there are also some various drugs, other drugs which are also helpful in the condition of systemic hypertension, like alpha-1 blockers. So the various alpha-1 blockers like prazosin can be used 0.5 to 20 mg daily, indorama 25 to 100 mg every 12 hours, and doxazosin 1 to 16 mg daily. Any of these can also be used in the conditions of systemic hypertension. There are also some other drugs like hydralazine which are going to directly act on the vascular smooth muscles. They are going to dilate the smooth muscles and decrease the blood pressure. Like hydralazine can be used 25 to 100 mg every 12 hourly. Minoxidil can also be used 10 to 50 mg daily, but this is not preferred for females because the side effects of minoxidil is that it is going to increase the growth of hairs on the face, so that is not quite aesthetic for females, right? So hydralazine and minoxidil are also used. There are also various other side effects like postural hypotension, tachycardia, headache also for hydralazine. Now the choice of antihypertensive drug की आप कौन सी hypertensive drug choose करोगे for various conditions and treatment. So it is going to depend on the age of the patient, sex of the patient, उसका background क्या है, from which background does he belong, मतलब उसकी economic condition क्या है, cost क्या है उस medication की, उस medication के side effects और कौन सी अगर कोई भी secondary disease associated है with systemic hypertension. So these are the factors which are going to be depending upon the choice of antihypertensive drug. आप इन सब चीजों को ध्यान में रखते हुए you are going to select drug or the first line drug for the treatment of systemic hypertension. So various systemic disease also have effect on initial drug selection. मतलब there are various systemic disease which are going to affect the selection of drugs. So various drugs or various medications are contraindicated in different disorders. Like for example, beta blockers can only be used if the patient is having angina, right? Beta blockers में अपन ने अभी just थोड़ी देर पहले देखा था कि it can be used. They are not now considered to be the first line treatment of drug, but they can be used still in the condition with angina and the patient is having, if he is having systemic hypertension. So like that there is contraindication and indications and side effects of each and every drug. Right now I'll pop up a chart for this in which you will know the various drugs and conditions, their compelling indications, contraindications and side effects. If you are able to remember that chart, it is more than good, but it is not compulsory to remember that chart. You just need to understand that various diseases have their contraindications for their drugs and the side effects, right? So ये चीज आपको ध्यान रखना है. Now as you guys have seen the chart, the treatment of systemic hypertension is going to depend on two factors. That is, if you are giving a single drug therapy, many patients ऐसे होते हैं जिसमें a single drug is enough to withstand or overcome the condition of systemic hypertension. और कुछ cases में you need to use the combination of drug. You need to use two or more types of drug to overcome the condition. अब it can be depending upon the side effects. अगर आप low doses की दो drug use कर रहे हो which are going to show less side effects compared to a single drug given in large dose which is going to show more side effects, तो आप इस reason से भी combination drug therapy use कर सकते हो. For example, some drugs have synergistic effect, मतलब they are going to help each other in the mechanism. Like thiazides are going to increase the renin-angiotensin system activity. In turn, the ACE inhibitors, as we saw, that they are going to decrease the renin-angiotensin activity. So this is all about the treatment of systemic hypertension. I know it is very much difficult to remember each and every drug with their doses, but I can't help out in that. You guys need to mug up or need to find a way to remember those drugs. At least if you can't remember the doses, you need to remember the names of the drug. अगर आपको drug के नाम भी याद है, आप लिख के आओ जरूरी नहीं कि हर एक का आप डोज लिखो, अगर आपको डोज याद है तो लिखो, पर गलत डोज लिख के आना नहीं, दैट विल बी अ बिग ब्लंडर इन द पेपर. Just try to remember the drugs in each and every category, their side effects and their mechanism of action. कि वो एक्ट कैसे कर रही है वो आपको ध्यान में रखना चाहिए. And any one drug you can remember the dosage of any one of the drugs. So this is all about systemic hypertension. I have tried to make it as simple as possible for you guys. Hope you guys understood the video. And if you enjoyed the lecture, then please like, share and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get regular updates of our upcoming lectures. Thank you.